Hello and welcome to this episode of Point Counterpoint. As always, we are here to discuss and deliberate on issues that are intrinsic and critical and burning to Goa and Goans. This week, we go down south, deep down south, to a land which is known to be full of valor, courage, and passion. A land that has taken part through its sons and daughters in various struggles for the glory and liberation of Goa. A land that has given poets, writers, freedom fighters, and people from different professions who have done not only the state but the country extremely proud. The land of Cuncolim. Today, Cuncolim is cursed. It is struggling to breathe. It is struggling to save itself from hazardous pollution, and this curse of Cuncolim and the curse of pollution has ultimately led to a resistance movement by its people, and this is a new kind of freedom that this land has been cursed to fight for. And all along for the last 10 to 15 years we've been speaking and discussing and arguing and litigating on fighting hazardous pollution by different kinds of industries who have, in order to shortcut their way to profits, have completely avoided and ignored pollution control measures. The pollution control board has a lot to answer for because they have not been the guide and the supervisor of ensuring that these industries carry out their work, their production under strict pollution and environment norms. And finally, I think we should take this debate and discussion beyond just industrial pollution to the fight for health and life and livelihoods as well. There is livestock and there is cattle that is dying, and people who have been consuming different kind of hazardous material, including lead and so on and so forth, are all in danger of succumbing at one point of time to some deadly disease if this is not checked. And this is not some red alarm that has been sparked off without any basis. There is scientific evidence to point towards this very, very strongly. The reason why this is being discussed now is also primarily because there are new pollutants coming into the scenario, as it were. Fish meal plants have exponentially increased, and there seems to be no serious effort, in spite of the closure of just two industries, or two factories rather, to see this as a very serious human issue. We are privileged to have a very eminent set of panelists who are not only stakeholders but also fighters. Some of them are young and who have and who are fighting for the future generation. Of course, the principal panelist, I would say, because of his seniority, is somebody who's been an age-old warrior and continues to fight, and leading the pack, as it were. But Cuncolim's movement against pollution needs to be a statewide issue, because you will have many Cuncolis coming up everywhere, and this needs to be highlighted so that our future generations are saved. I'll introduce the panelists before opening up the floor for them. Prasad Lotlikar is a geologist on my extreme right. He resides about a kilometer from the IDC. And as a young person, he has seen it all happening in front of his eyes, whatever I've just said. And he, along with the others as well, are part of, I would say, the informal Cuncolim pollution resistance movement, which is now just gathering shape, and people are getting together to lay out the parameters of the call for action. Next to him is Freddie Rodriguez, officially a housewife, but much more than that. She's again seen it all from the time that she's been in this village, spent some very lovely years drinking the clean water from the well, but now of course is an aggrieved and a very pained stakeholder for whom basic sources of even groundwater has been denied, and she also is one of the crusaders in this whole important movement. Dr. Jocelyn Fernandez needs no introduction. One would say he's the face and the soul of this whole long fight, which he has done so wearing multiple hats of a doctor, a researcher, an activist, but above all a very passionate Goan who sees and understands that this issue is part of the overall degradation that Goa is facing in all walks of life. And last but not the least, on my extreme left is another young agitator, I would call Manju Shirwant. Manju, of course, again is part of the Cuncolim pollution resistance movement, and one is glad to see that young people are coming out, because at a time when so many young people are looking for greener pastures and moving to other parts of the country and the world, this is the youth or young people who are here to fight for the next generation. Dr. I'll invite you to open the discussion. I have no specific questions, but I would like you to respond to some of the points I've raised.
The issue, I'd rather start right from the beginning itself. When we had the Cuncolim industrial estate that was being planned by the government of Goa, I remember there was a meeting that was being held just to the house next of Frenny Rodriguez, who is here with us as a panelist. And we were being told that everybody will be getting jobs. So since you started with lives and livelihood, that's what the bait that was being put forward for the people, saying that everybody will get a job. And so everybody was happy, and then in the same tone people asked what type of factories are going to come, is it going to cause pollution for us? And the answer was, don't worry, that will be all taken care of, but everybody will have a job.
This was when, around which?
I think somewhere way back in 1990s,
right,
when the industrial estate came up in Cuncolim.
Right.
And that's how the industries were being launched, and what we had was the rolling mills. Almost around 14 rolling mills were being put up in the Cuncolim industrial estate of Cuncolim, and we had two very hazardous units. One was Nicomet and the second one was Sunrise Zinc. And people hardly understood what were the pollutants that were being put up into the environment, till such time that people started finding that it was very difficult for them to drink the water. There used to be scum on the water. The animals started aborting, the cows started aborting small calves, and then everybody was looking into why that was happening. And finally what we found was cadmium, chromium, zinc, copper, lead, arsenic is what was there into the groundwater, into the wells, as well as into the ponds.
Was this, just to interrupt you, was this gradual or was it immediate?
No, it was gradually that happened.
Right.
Because the levels went up beyond the permissible limits. So when we started checking all the water, this is what we got from the Goa State Pollution Control Board. And it was very difficult for us at that moment of time to come to know that the pollution has gone to an extent that it is something that we cannot retract back. So we tried all the different other agencies of the government, we tried all the other bodies of the government that is supposed to control, right from health to the Pollution Control Board, to the IDC, to the factories and boilers, to the everybody that was supposed to be coming in. And what we got was, invariably everybody used to pass on the ball of the blame game to somebody else, and then we couldn't track down. So finally I had no other option but to write a letter to the Goa bench of the Bombay High Court, and it was converted into appeal. And that is the appeal that finally gave us the justice, saying that the two industries, Nicomet Industries as well as Sunrise Zinc, then we are asked to shut down.
Right, right. I'll come back to you, Dr. Frenny, I'll come to you now. You live 2 kilometers from
Yes.
from the IDC, or from the hazardous point, as I would say. Now, how has your life changed over the years, and what do you see there? And secondly, why do you feel the agitation needs to be now increased now? Has there been any catalyst or any spark which has finally forced you all to literally take to the streets?
The thing is, now it's become 23 years since I married.
Right.
So before, what I was drinking the well water, it was so nice. Then after a few years, I've noticed there was a dirty smell coming from the water, and the taste was different. So then my husband had taken the water and tested it. So then it was, the result was that your water is polluted, please do not drink it. So then we had to forcefully drink the tap water. We don't know how safe it is. But
This
still
was around which year did you experience this?
about 15 years back.
I see. So it's
Yeah.
been going on
Yeah.
since then. Yes.
That's what. So then we left that water. So I used that water only just for putting for the plants.
Okay. Okay.
So completely now we are used with the tap water only. Then recent years now, the worst thing is we are getting dirty smell. Severe. The smell is so bad we cannot breathe. It's so polluted, and then it happens
You're getting
like
the smell from the air or from the water?
from the air.
From the air.
Yeah.
Okay.
The water then is polluted, so we
Right.
don't touch it.
Right.
So then the dirty smell which you are getting, and it happens like in the night.
Right.
After about 10 o'clock the smell starts
Right.
and continues till 8, 9, 10 in the morning.
It's a daily affair.
Daily.
Okay.
Because we never notice this, it never happens in the rainy season because it's continuously raining.
Right.
So we cannot make it out.
Right.
Then once this rain stopped, the smell is so severe that we cannot breathe it. So we thought we have to find a solution. So then we thought we will come on the ground, we'll find out a solution because we cannot see this happening.
Right.
Because what air we will be breathe.
Right.
We don't know how polluted it is. And the thing is, when we were cleaning our houses, so much black, the dust is full black carbon. Even everything what I cook, I close it immediately. But when you touch on the top, full of dust. So just imagine how much we are breathing and how much it is affecting our lungs. People don't understand that. They are just seeing the dust, black dirt, they are saying. But every day, every second, we are breathing all this.
I'll come to you. Prasad, as a geologist, tell us, or somebody who is aware, what is the nature of the pollution? In the sense, one is of course hazardous waste from the polluting industries that are there, steel and others. But now we also learn that the fish meal plants are also there. Now there was an effort to cart away all this waste, hazardous waste, to an off-site landfill or whatever. Now, what is the status of that? So just explain to us the severity of the waste and the success or failure of transporting the waste out.
First of all, basic necessity of human beings is having a good clean air, clean water and clean food. Here all three components are not
Missing.
missing.
Yeah.
First of all, the hazardous waste is lying like more than 14 years in the Cuncolim IDC. The waste is having metals like nickel, cobalt, chromium and all these heavy metals. And it is like 25,000, more than that maybe. And this is lying like 15 years, and with the action of rainwater it's get percolated inside the groundwater.
Right.
And it contaminates the groundwater of the whole area.
Right.
And some people are still using the well waters.
Right.
And they don't know what is effect of this heavy metal like cadmium, chromium, arsenic, zinc, lead.
Right.
And all these elements are either they will damage your lungs, kidney and blood. All these cancer causing elements are these. And the second thing is waste materials that is generated after the processing of the fish. It is whatever I heard that they are putting in the borehole wells. They have in the factories, they have built up the bore wells and they are dumping this.
So they are dumping
organic
the waste inside the
inside the
bore
bore well.
Okay.
So whenever it is get contaminated with the water, it will make the full groundwater contaminated, and it is not suitable for anyone, even the animals, whatever they are eating. And the second thing, the agriculture is also disturbed with these activities.
Right.
Because all these elements are nanoparticles. They get accumulated in the food or whatever the grains, or even as the doctor said, the
Right.
cows are having a problem with this.
Right.
They are eating and they are making this
Right.
issue with the health.
Mm-hmm.
And even some of our neighboring villages, they are depend on the milk of the cows.
Right.
And when these cows and buffalo, they are having whatever the grass cultivated in surrounding area,
Right.
all these elements get introduced in the food chain of human beings.
Right.
It was not there before.
And those cases have come.
Cases are.
Yeah, I'll ask Dr. to elaborate, but before I do that, Manju, one quick question, specifically referring to the fish meal plants. Where do you see the problem increasing? Initially, there must have been 1 or 2 plants, But has there been a huge growth in the number of plants, and how are they actually affecting your life?
Yeah, see, this is, our ward is the most affected ward,
Okay.
ward number 5.
Right.
So it's Gorekoto, Moscone, Takaban and IDC area.
Right.
And this smell of this fish mills are increasing day by day.
Right.
And they are passing this drainage water, they are seeing dirt and all. And we have inspected, even in the fields they are sending this thing. So
But haven't you all kind of gone and met the fish peel plant owners, confronted them?
yeah,
spoken to
we
them?
have done lot of time these things, but nothing has happened. Government is playing hide and seek with us.
Hmm.
We have given memorandum to this thing, and now we have again draft the memorandum,
Right.
which is to
Tell
be
us a
given
little
to
bit,
yeah,
tell
yeah.
us a little bit about this memorandum that you all have drafted.
Yeah, we have that detail you want to know.
Little bit, just to let people know what you all are doing.
Actually, it's not finalized.
Correct.
It will be finalized on Monday.
No, so but what you all are
We
doing?
have taken,
yes, you all are taking signatures
Yeah,
from
yeah,
people.
we have taken the signatures.
To give this
Yeah, yeah.
memorandum to the CM,
CM
to
and
the
yeah, and we have taken the
Environment Minister
pictures,
and others, yes,
pictures
okay.
of this. They have sent wastage and all.
So this is part of the whole resistance movement
Yes,
coming.
correct.
Those are a couple of points. One is, of course, the whole issue of hazardous waste. If you could just tell us the journey of your fight to ensure that the promise of moving the hazardous waste to a separate off-site. Now, how far has that been successful? Because promises were made and even declared that this is actually being done. So, what is the current status? And my next question to you, I'll give you two questions to uninterruptedly talk of. The other is basically the role of the Goa Pollution Control Board, A, in either being successful or having failed to monitor, and secondly, they have basically given some instructions to steel plants and to fish meal to install smokeless chimneys or to install ETB plants. My point is, what has been the role of the Goa Pollution Control Board in being an efficient supervisor of ensuring that pollution does not?
I'll get to the first question when we are talking about the hazardous waste.
Yes.
These two industries, Sunrise Zinc and Nicomet Industries Limited, had been established long time ago. We went through the high power committee they had, and in that the Goa State Pollution Control Board put up 3 reasons. One reason was that the process by which the zinc ash was being brought into India, and then it was being processed to produce the zinc ingots. It was an indigenous process. That was one reason. Second reason, they said this factory should not come in because the ETP, the effluent treatment plant, was also indigenous. It was never tried out. It was a research base. So whether it would be successful or a failure, they did not know. And the third reason they said is, when we are bringing this zinc ash or nickel ash, what it would contain, whether it would contain some radioactive isotopes and that would harm the people. These are the 3 reasons the Goa State Pollution Control Board had raised at that moment of time. We quickly went into the second meeting because thinking that there are serious good points that are being made by the Goa State Pollution Control Board. The second committee meeting minutes, if you have a look, Nicomet goes to Cuncolim Industrial Estate, Sunrise Zinc goes to Cuncolim Industrial Estate. Nobody analyzed what was being told by the Goa State Pollution Control Board. So in other words, research scientists are being sidelined by our politicians. They just want to get these industries and they want to have them. Now, this pollution slowly had increased till we fought it in 2007. The industries were being shut down. That is the time when NEERI was being allocated to us, National Environmental Engineering Research Institute. And they guided us how this hazardous waste management should be done. So they put membranes, they had a leacher, then again a second membrane, and plot was being allocated. IDC's mandate is to give all facilities for the industries. Whether it is a truck bay, water, whether it is toilet, roads or power supply, water supply, all that they are supposed to look into, as well as the hazardous waste where you are going to keep it down. This was not being done. So finally that plot was being allocated. Sunrise Zinc shut down and they went back. So their waste remained there. Government said that we are going to put it in some another site because the site in the Cuncolim Industrial Estate was not feasible and it was not sufficient for them. So Nicomet said, okay, they are going to put it. So they put it all into that. Finally, they said, we are going into the red, we can't. And they shut down and they went off. Now that same unit is being brought up by Vedanta. It is some Marco, something they have named it. And it is going on. It is on a trial ground. That is what the Pollution Control Board told us just about a year and a half back when we went there. Now, where does this waste go was our question. So they said, no, we are putting it into another area in the north. Now, that particular plot I found out, it is being managed and run by the Goa Industrial association, where all the industrial
Yes,
association
yes,
is there.
correct.
They are the people
GSI,
who are-
yeah, I think.
GSI, yeah,
Yes,
Goa
yes.
State Industrial Association.
Yes.
Now, why would they put Sunrise Zinc's hazardous waste? Sunrise Zinc is shut and they are gone down. That
Right.
waste is lying down there.
Right.
Somebody has to transport it.
Correct.
Nicomet, yes, it is taken over by somebody. They will pay the money and they will get it into
But
the site.
just to be clear, that waste still lies there.
Yeah, the Sunrise Zinc waste is still there. It will be almost about 3-floor building and spread over almost about 2,500 square meters.
So just let us pause. You are saying that there's hazardous waste
Yes.
of the size of a 3-storied building
Yes,
lying right there.
right.
Okay. Causing danger to
Danger,
people's lives
because
and livelihoods.
every stormwater drain is going to carry all those elements that we have been talking about, what Prasad has been talking about, right from lead to arsenic to zinc to copper to cadmium to chromium, is what is going to percolate down into our waters.
And this building, so-called hazardous building, has been there for how many years? You would say?
Since the time that we are fighting, 2007, now we are in 2023.
So
from
16 years.
Yes, it is lying down there.
Okay.
And every year we have to remind the Goa State Pollution Control Board, we verbally go or sometimes we write a letter, that kindly put a tarpaulin on that so that the water, storm water drain doesn't wash it too much. Even that we have to remind them. Then they put it up. Then the next year again we have to remind them, and they go on doing this. But the hazardous waste has remained there.
But the tarpaulin is only a fig leaf.
Yeah, it is just going to be covering it up
Yes,
so that
yes.
it doesn't get washed away faster.
Right,
Because
right.
from the groundwater it will take it,
That's
because
correct.
as much as it is outside, it is also inside, and we don't know
percolated,
what
yes,
depth.
yes, yes,
Okay.
yes.
So now the Goa State Pollution Control Board, we do not know, because polluter pays is the principle. But
Correct.
whom does the polluter pay is a big question mark for all of us.
Correct, correct.
Because everybody is tight-lipped.
Correct.
If you are tight-lipped, then you are getting something, that's why you are tight-lipped. Otherwise, why is the waste not going into wherever the designated spot is being allocated? Why doesn't it go there?
What about the Nicomet waste?
Nicomet waste is already contained into the hazardous management waste site that was given by the IDC.
Right.
But the present one is being taken to that Pisurlin site, whatever they have allocated. But just about a month and a half back, 2 months back, when they were taking it, 3 of their bags, almost 1 ton is each bag, that huge bag like this, they fell down at Sirlim. On the speed breakers, it fell down. So I was asking their people, I said, how do you transport this waste? I said, are there no logistics that are being given to you? There is no rational, I said, scientific rational. How do you, should you transport it to the site?
Right.
Goa State Pollution Control Board, I don't know what action taken report they have done, but
Right.
we are going to find out about that.
Right.
Because this type of incident should not happen over and over again.
Right.
Because it is happening in Cuncolim. Now with this type of waste that's going to be dumped here and there and fallen down here and there, some of the other areas which have not been polluted will have the stormwater drain polluting their things with heavy elements.
Yeah, and if we could briefly touch upon my second part of my question
Yeah.
about the role of the pollution board
I think
and the IDC board.
it should not be called as the Goa State Pollution Control Board. It should be called as the Goa State Pollution Causing Board. I'm sincerely telling you, the reason is because they have not been able to do anything for any of the industries that people have been always raising their voice. I have been even to Pilen, the industrial estate, where there was an effluent that was going into the pond there. What has been done? Nothing much. We have been fighting for the last several years. What has been done? Nothing much. We are now talking in this particular discussions about the fish mills. I understand the smell that is there is malodorous, it is disagreeable, you should stop it. Now, how to stop it is something that has to be regulated, and the direction should be given by the Goa State Pollution Control Board. The organic matter, after you crush all that fish and everything, where do they put it? In the assembly itself, the CM directly was saying that they are putting it in the bore wells. You know it, what have you done?
Right.
You know it, what have you done? You are the first person of our state, but what have you done for the people of Cuncolim? Nothing, absolutely. It is still going into the water. I still remember when we had that last time issue, we took them again to the Goa State Pollution Control Board. We found bore wells that were being dug up there, in which they were putting it. Water Resource Department came, they detected one of the bore well. The first thing that they did was, without siphoning the water out from that bore well, the first thing that they did was, they removed the submersible pump. After you remove the pump, such idiots, how do you expect the water bottle to go inside to remove that effluent now? It's a deep pipe, and it's a small pipe. In that pipe, the water bottle was touching here and there, and they couldn't get the water, so we couldn't test it. Now, this is something, where people are doing all this type of nonsense, is basically to safeguard the industry so that you do not have evidence that you can produce in the court tomorrow to shut them down.
Freddie, I'll come to you. I mean, what Dr. has outlined is absolutely shocking, and you really, one feels alarmed, very, very alarmed to hear all this. It's inhuman. Tell me, now, as a stakeholder there, just tell us, just brief us a little bit about how you all are gathering yourselves, how people are getting together. WhatsApp groups have been formed. I'm sure there's a lot of activity happening on Facebook and on groups and all that. So just tell us a little bit about the ongoing activity, and from when did you all decide, many people like yours, that look, enough is enough. Tell us a little bit about how people are getting together to fight this.
Yeah, the thing is, we because of this stench was too much, and this carbon which we are breathing, so we thought it's not, again, we cannot delay it anymore, because we will be killed one day.
Absolutely,
So,
correct. Yes,
it's a slow death for every person in Cuncolim.
Right.
So
correct.
then we thought we will come on the ground. So we thought we will make a memorandum. I personally went to ward number 5. Maximum I collected all the
Right.
signatures.
Okay.
So then the people told me, Madam, will this happen, or will it get stopped? So
Right.
I told, this is not going to end again. We are putting a step forward, and we will see that it is done. Because the smell, the thing, they are saying, the moment they get up on the empty stomach, when you get that smell, they feel like vomiting.
Right.
All people are saying, Bhai Kitenkor, please save this and stop the smell, because they cannot bear it.
Right.
So I told, because of that, we are coming forward. You all give your signatures, and whenever there is this one, just come forward.
Right.
Don't stay at home. Come
Right.
forward, and we have to, personally, many of our people went and visited the CM, and he told within 10 days.
When
I will
was
take
this? Referee?
About 19 days
20
back,
days
no?
back, 20 days,
yeah,
yeah.
about 20 days back.
And what were his exact
he
words?
told, I will take action within 10 days. I will sort out this matter. The 10 days passed on 31st October. Now it is the next 10th day, 20 days. So where is he? What is he up to? He's not bothered that
Right.
we are suffering. Even his sister staying in Cuncolim, exactly.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
And still, at least if he had a love for his sister, he would have come forward immediately. I don't know why he is just staying away from this. So I'm pleading the CM to please look into the matter and save us from this pollution. We are suffering each and every day. Every second we are breathing this carbon.
No, this pain is absolutely evident. Prasad, see, the thing is, from time to time there has been a demand for closing the entire IDC. Forget one industry or the other industry. If you see, I've got in my notes, I see that the State Environmental Expert and State Expert Appraisal Committee, okay, SEAC, they had recommended to the Goa State Environment Impact Assessment Authority for the closure of one factory called Orange Fox Steel Limited. During that time, they realized that the issue is far beyond just one factory or and others, and there was a demand from people that look, the issue is so deep and so serious that it's not just about one industry or the other industry. So, what are your views on this, and how do you all react to this?
See, this pollution issue is not a new. It is not like 1 month before or 1 year before. This is like 20 years before.
Right.
Everyone knows about the pollution, what is going on in Cuncolim area.
Right.
And even whenever the people raise the voice, they said we will do the assessment of the area, we do the testing,
Right.
we'll call the agency. And this is, we are hearing from last 10-15 years the same story, but
Right.
nothing hard step is taken by anyone
Right.
till now.
Right.
Even the pollution control board, they knows like what is going on.
Hmm.
Even the reports, they shows everything like heavy metals, everything. But till now there is nothing has done by anyone. And the people are suffering like because like now like we have suffered like 20 years. Now
Right.
our children's, everyone, they have to struggle again for the same whole life. So what is the use? The people start migrating from the Cuncolim to some other areas.
That's also been happening?
Yeah, it's happening. People
People are
are not
moving out?
staying here.
Right. Manju, the thing is, if you recall, you may recall this, that there was a big mention of this issue in the assembly.
Yes.
There was a calling attention motion. This was sometime in April.
Yeah.
And I think the leader of the opposition had
Yeah,
raised it.
our
Your local
MLA.
MLA, Yuri
Yeah,
had
Yuri.
raised it.
Yeah.
And of course, there was a big deliberation there
Yeah.
between him and
Yeah.
the industries minister
Yeah.
and others.
Movin.
Yes, Movin Gudino there. And the CM kind of finally tried to pacify both sides and said that, look, I'm interviewing and I'm assuring an inspection of these illegalities within a fortnight. And of course, the whole opposition was literally up in arms over this whole issue. Now, after that, was there any inspection that was carried out? And how do you see the role of political parties and leadership there in addressing this issue? I'm not really talking of now, but from time immemorial.
No, they are just fooling us.
Everybody?
Yeah, everybody.
Okay.
They are playing just hide and seek game.
Right.
They are giving memorandum, they are taking these issues in assembly, only nothing seriously things happen in
Right.
Cuncolim.
Right.
Now see, cancer cases are increasing day by day. We can in our survey, every alternate house there is a one cancer case is there.
Every alternate house in which
near IDC area.
you all have
Latest
actually done a
survey,
survey
yeah,
on
yeah.
this? Okay. I mean, have you documented it?
We have taken survey, roughly
Right.
survey
Right,
in
okay.
industrial area.
Okay.
Every alternate house there is a cancer case.
Right.
So it's very high time now.
Dutur, the opposition leader at that point of time had said that there is no nodal agency to coordinate with different departments and fire services, pollution and others. I mean, I'll repeat the same question to you. The overall role of the political class, I wouldn't even call it the political class, I mean the elected class who are representatives of the people, let's put it that way. Also there was this call for a nodal agency to look into all these aspects. Now, how do you react to these things?
I think the executive should take the lead, whether the politician act whichever way that they want to.
Right.
Because if the Goa State Pollution Control Board, the factories and boilers, whether it's the health department, whether it is the environmental ministry,
Right.
if they all work sincerely, I don't think we need any elected class to look into those matters.
Exactly.
You know, this is what it is. But every time you find these executives, when they go over there, there will be pressure that will be coming onto them. We have seen it ourselves, we have witnessed it. When we were fighting the Sunrise Zinc, we saw a huge pipe of almost around 4 inches width pipe, where they were pouring concentrated acid onto the ground.
Okay.
Now, this acid, when it goes into the ground, it is going to pollute our groundwater. It is going to be acidic. We called up everybody saying that they are putting up this acid and it should be important for us to see that this is being stopped. Collector doesn't respond. The ministers don't respond. Pollution Control Board never responds. We were there at that particular place till 5 o'clock in the evening. We started this at around 12 o'clock. 5 hours we were there. And subsequently, what do we find? The Sunrise Zinc officials then, they said, no, these people have thrown a stone at us. There is a wall and there is a roof like this. If I throw a stone, how will it fall inside? When there's a roof there and the roof is intact. And then they say, no, doctor, you are arrested, come to the police station.
This was which year?
This was way back in 2006-07.
Right. And you were arrested that day?
No, I wasn't arrested. I
Detained.
told them, I said, you show me how does the stone land inside when your roof is perfectly fine.
Right.
So these are the type of things that the people do, and who will do this now? It is not the police, but it is the elected class who does this at the behest of the people from the industry. And that is the reason they do not respond. So you find that everybody is hand in glove, and that's why I always have my thinking, polluter pays, but it's very important to know whom it pays.
Correct. Right. But now I don't think the polluter is paying at all.
They're paying.
But who are they paying? They're not
They're
paying
paying
the people.
And that's the very reason why you find this is continuously going on.
Right.
And they are not listening to anybody. So
Correct.
when they show their tongue to us, it is time for the people of Cuncolim to show our teeth. If we are not ready to show our teeth, I think they will not understand the language that we are trying to speak against them. And this is the problem with all our elected class. We had Joachim Alemão, who was one of the powerful ministers at that moment of time.
Right.
He was in the ministry, but he never stood by us. If he had to stand by us, I don't think the leader of opposition, his son, should have raised this question today. It would have been stopped there and there itself. So these are the type of things that have been happening from the elected class.
When you say teeth, what can you all do to show your teeth?
See, what did we do at that moment of time? We escalated the agitation to an extent that finally, because nobody was listening to us, apart from the letter that was being sent to the High Court, we stopped the highway. And we told them, no, nothing else, but we want that the 2 units should be shut down.
Right.
So the 2 units were being shut down. We had some important trump cards. One was that the hazardous waste of Sunrise Zinc was dumped about 8 kilometers away in a place called as Padi.
Right.
And we also found that the same hazardous waste was also put in a place called as Pirla, which was again another some 8 to 9 kilometers away. We kept those 2 things in our hand. On the last day when everything came up, we put up those 2 trump cards of ours. And then the judge said, your horse is not bolted, it is running amok. Shut down these two industries by 5 p.m. and that's it. Because he realized that the hazardous waste has gone beyond. So this is what we did and what we had to do.
So-
and we did a Rasta Roko just preceding that to show that we are escalating the agitation. So we need to plan ourselves very well. We bulldoze ourselves into the industries. They use the police force against us. The elected people will be the one who will be supporting the police. Okay, arrest this fellow, arrest that fellow. So finally what happens here, agitation starts collapsing down because people don't want youngsters who are going to sacrifice their job and who want to go abroad are today being arrested and they have a case being filed against them. And they are all cases which are fictitious cases which are being filed against them. So the parents start pulling the children out and your agitation collapses. So we need hardcore people who are going to bulldoze these guys, otherwise they will never understand because it's a total coalition between the elected people and the industries who are doing this.
Very important point. You're saying that it's a coalition between elected people and industries which is allowing this pollution to continue. Now, Dr. just one last question, in this round. See, you actually spoke about how you all agitated earlier and how you showed your teeth. Now, that victory was won. Now, those two industries are out of the way. So, why do you need to show your teeth now? For what specific purpose? Though we have spoken about it, but in a more focused way.
If you look into the talk that we have had and the assembly discussions that we have had, where the CM promised that in 10 days he will look into it.
Correct.
Memorandum was given. He says, okay, in 10
No,
days.
so what specifically do you all want?
Yeah, what we need to do is now we need to fight this industry. So we need evidence with us.
Right.
To collect the evidence, we have to go to the Goa State Pollution Control Board and get all their action taken reports. We know there are malodors. We know there's organic matter into the ground. We need to test the water. There are people who have said there are illegal
Of a few
wells.
identified industries or overall?
The few industrial units which have already got these bore wells. The fish mill specifically.
Okay.
So we need to see that where are these wells located. Now to locate these wells, we need a scanner. We used that scanner some time back when we suspected this. So only once we go there, then we'll be able to identify that. Now, Water Resource Department has got all their people who are doing the bore well digging are the people who are registered with the Water Resource Department. So they should naturally know where these particular agencies have gone and dug a well.
Right.
So the information should be perfectly well.
Correct.
How can you have illegal wells?
Right.
That means your Water Resource Department is not doing the proper work.
Right.
Or the people who are...
No, you may have the wells that are legal but being used illegally.
Yeah,
That's all.
illegally. That also is possible.
Right.
But there are illegal wells and there are legal wells which are being misused
Correct.
by putting that organic matter
Yes,
inside.
yes.
So until we collect all this data, only then it is time for us to show our teeth. So
Right.
we need to have a cumulative where everybody comes in. The health officers come in, IDC comes in, the Goa State Pollution Control Board, the environmental people come in, factories and boilers also come in over there, and we have directly an inspection so that nobody has a blame game of tossing the ball from
Right.
one court to another court.
Right.
And we specifically fix up the responsibility on one person and say, please give your report, what have you done over the last several years.
Right.
If you have not done anything, we take the charge. If you can't take the charge, then we take the charge as Cuncolim.
So you will first start with at least a proper discussion.
Discussions.
Okay.
Yes.
Otherwise, then you will take
Yeah.
charges. The other thing that I wanted to ask you, Lenny, is that see, my point is that entire area there are different kind of people who are affected.
Yeah.
But I would say that especially women in the house who have to kind of manage the house, bring people up, they would obviously be end up being a little more affected because they are at home much more than the men are,
Yes.
and they're bringing up children. But I'd like to take a little leaf out of what Prasad mentioned. Do you also see that a lot of people are kind of migrating, moving out of Cuncolim,
Yeah,
going
many.
to other places within Goa and others? Are many students also being encouraged to go and study elsewhere? Just tell us a little bit about that
Means
aspect. of-
I've noticed like many people, because of this pollution, they have left and they are staying in Margao
Okay.
to be safe. And many children who are staying at present, they are getting allergies. So they're always getting cold, sneezing, cough. And then when asked the doctor, there's allergy, you're allergic to the pollution, what is happening over there?
Doctors are saying it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then they have no other choice, because some people, they cannot afford to leave Cuncolim and go and stay in Margao. It's too expensive for them.
Right. But you know of cases, neighbors, friends and others who moved away from there?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Many are there.
So the issue is that my point is, since many of them have moved away, when you want to carry on this agitation forward and to show your teeth, as Dr. said, will you all also invite people in other parts of Goa to come and take part in this people's movement.
Yes,
who
yes,
moved
of
out.
course.
And are you all getting a response from them as well?
Yeah,
Okay.
they are ready to
Right.
support us.
Right. Right.
Because we are suffering so much, and we have told, so even they are feeling bad. Why is it happening in Cuncolim? Why there is no precautions taken?
Right.
Why the CM is still quiet?
Right. Right.
Because I personally went and talked to these people. They're saying, will this government give us a chance to breathe fresh air? And how long is this going to be happen? We have to suffer all this. That's what they're asking me.
Right.
So we told, this is the last and final chance. You all please come out.
Right.
If the CM is not taking action, we will come on the road. We will block all the access to these industries, all the trucks, everything will be blocked. Then it will be a shame for the CM. So before that, we thought of talking to him personally, submitting the memorandum, and then looking forward what he can do for us.
Brother, there's one aspect which came up during that discussion in the assembly, where the industries minister said, look, if there are so many migrants living there, they are working in those factories, they are staying there, how can we take concrete action, because we also don't want to harm the migrants who are there on humanitarian grounds. Now, how do you see this, and how can you work your way around it?
Yeah, but as a rule, there should be like whatever the workers are working over there, they are exposed to this pollution, like pollution from the air, like sulfur dioxide and all.
Yeah, that's a very important point, because it affects the people working.
It affects the people. They are
Yes,
people are staying over there,
yes.
and this pollution.
Yes.
It will affect the workers who are working, who are coming from like Bihar, UP and all. They left their families over there and they are working here.
Right.
So I don't think the government or agency should take action. Whatever the correct action, they should take action. Like they want to put a treatment plant or whatever the best method, they should approve and they should get this equipment, start treating this effluent and everything. But should not be compromised on this.
But do you still see those migrants there, people there?
Yeah, the people are there. If you go the industrial area, there are many people. Some people are staying inside also.
Right, right. They're staying inside. Okay.
The most of the time they are exposed to this area. They are working and they are staying nearby. So most of the time they are exposed to these pollutants.
Right, right. And none of the industries have used those chimneys, those smokeless chimneys that steel plants were supposed to be used.
Smokeless chimneys, I don't think, because when we see in the morning or in the evening, like 5 o'clock, we get like black smoke all over the our area.
Right. Okay. Manju, one important question also is a people's question. All along, as Dr. was saying, nobody has really done anything. Elected representatives have not done anything, or they've been hand in gloves with the industries and so on and so forth. But the point here is that during the time of elections, why doesn't this become an important mandate for the people? People who've been suffering, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the feeling is that people who have been suffering are the very people who turn around and keep on electing. And I'm not saying this against any one particular MLA or any one particular party, but the thing is that the issue of industrial hazardous pollution in IDC has never become a fundamental election mandate. Why is that so?
That's what I am telling.
Fundamental election.
Yeah, that both the parties are fooling us, and our people are getting fooled. Every time they fooled. Even
I know, but you all are still voting, aren't you?
yeah, that's what.
So,
See, our ward is the most affected ward.
Right.
So last 25 years, our ward councillor have not taken any action. Even these MLAs, ex-MLAs, two-time ministers, they have not taken any action on industries. I don't know, because of vitamin M or something else.
but
that I don't
how
know.
do they get the votes?
That's what.
Oh.
During that election time, they are targeting this pollution as the main this thing in their agenda, but they are not following that.
No, but then people are continuing to vote them. The very person who is facing the smell and going to the doctor and seeing that they have cancer or whatever,
Yeah.
those are the same people who are. I'm not saying those very people, but people like them are voting.
Yeah, that's what.
That is also sad. Those are your
That
remarks
is
on
the
this.
sad story.
Yeah.
I think nobody votes for, everybody votes against.
Right.
That's something which is very important for us to realize.
Right.
I have fought 2 assembly elections.
Yes.
A sleeping tiger was being woken up
Right.
in 2007.
Right.
I never wanted to fight elections. I was in the student union. I was in the Coalition of Resident Doctors. I was in the All India Federation of Junior Doctors Association. I started my own democratic struggle front of all professional colleges. Never wanted to enter into politics. But when I realized that this agitation was picking up, the people from both the wards, Prasad's ward as well as Manju's ward, they came to me and they started telling me, doctor, we need to do something about this. And we moved that agitation forward and we got it through. Never with an inclination and an intention that we are going to fight the elections.
Right.
But then what I realized was the most powerful people are the most powerless. The so-called the most powerful people that we talk about are the most powerless, because when it comes to the bait, they fall prey to that particular bait, and then finally nothing happens. So this implies to both. It implies to the voter and it implies to the people who are also elected.
Right.
You
Yeah,
know.
exactly.
So that's why I said that polluter pays to whom we do not know.
Right.
We really do not know whom he
Right.
pays.
Yeah. The
So-
pun is on the word pays.
Yeah.
Correct. Yes.
So this is where the whole the functioning of the people remains, and that's where the agitations come and they go off. The agitations come and they go off. We have been fighting since then. We have kept our tenacity. We have kept our sustainability to say that okay, fine, we will fight this, take it to its logical end. I'm tired, basically speaking, at this moment of time to tell you. I put in a lot of money for that agitation in 2007. People who were my good friend became my worst enemies. The simple reason is because politically they did not like me, because they liked somebody else who was giving them their dough and they were happy about it. So this is what has happened. It's all in the ball game. You have to take it the way it is. But you cannot move yourself, focus away from there.
Right.
Because the moment you keep your focus away from there, you are for it.
Right.
So this is what happens. And that's what I have realized. So the situation here is the principle, polluter pays. Whom it
Right.
pays, we do not know. It's a big question mark.
So tell me now, the thing is, one PIL was filed and you managed to ensure that 2 industries shut down. If a PIL were to be filed today, what would the prayer be?
I think the prayer today should be not only to shut down the fish mills, but to shut down all the industries. Because I remember when we filed a PIL against all the industries, even the rolling mills. The rolling mills chimneys were very short. The NIRI found that the foliage was having all small little holes.
Right.
Because that fly ash used to go and fall onto the leaves and then it used to get burnt.
I see.
So with that they said like the chimney should go up.
Right.
Now you are talking about this from 1992. In 2007 you are talking about that the chimney should go up. So they had to take them up.
Right.
They have to have a canopy.
Right.
They have to put a fan which is going to move at a very fast speed so that all the pollutants are being put onto the canopy.
Right.
And with the water that is being pumped to that height, it has to come down into a gallon drain.
Okay.
And then you are supposed to treat it. Now this is costing money. So what they do for large amounts of profits, they don't do all this and they let the people have it.
Right.
So this is exactly what Freni and everybody was talking about, that the smoke, the thick smokes come in late in the night, early in the morning hours, and it becomes very toxic for the people to breathe in and breathe out.
Right. Right.
These are the situations that we go by. So what we find is that not even a single industry, whichever one it is, whoever is not following the norms, the mandatory norms of all the authorities, governing authorities, whether it is factories and boilers, health department, whether it's the Goa State Pollution Control Board, the environment, or whichever agency.
Should be shut down immediately.
Should be shut down immediately.
Right.
No warning, nothing, absolutely. Close it down, get
Right.
back home.
Right.
If you are coming in, come out as clean.
Right.
You can't come out otherwise. That is the only means out. To do that, we must first establish what is wrong down there, and we must first establish with evidences so that we can fight them out straight.
Right.
Otherwise, they go on turning and twisting.
Correct.
Like the fish mill last time, they were put about 1 crore of fine.
Exactly. Correct.
You know,
And then they went to court against
yes,
the decision.
yes. I was the one who was complainant over there, but they never invited me when the hearing was there. I forced myself in. I told them, I said, I want to be in. So they sent me a letter saying that late in the night, you please come in when the Pollution Control Board is already being closed.
Right.
That is the time they sent me a mail. I went the next day. They are telling us all cock and bull stories, bullying, fooling. Is exactly what we are trying to bring about. One of the fish mill is telling us that they have got a plot of around 2,000 to 3,000 square meters. They have got about 2,000 numbers of banana plantation, and they are putting all the organic matter down there. I told them in 3,000 square meters, you can't have 2,000 banana plantation. Each leaf it is about 1.5 meters. So you have to plant the banana plantation about 2.5 to 3 meters away.
Right.
So you can't. So they are bullying everybody.
Right.
And the Goa State Pollution Control Board, with such type of notice when they put, everybody gets convinced and thinks that, okay, what they're saying is right. And they reduce the fine to something like, 5 lakhs and some 10 lakhs on the pretext that it is COVID time. We are having a difficult time for ourselves. We are having difficult time all throughout. We are having difficult time only during the COVID time.
Correct.
You have made ample of money
So
for
the fish
yourself.
meal plants have not paid the fine yet.
I do not know. I don't know the
Right,
status of that
right.
because I have not written a letter.
Right.
But I can find out about that here.
Right. Freddy, I'd just like to focus a little bit on the Goa Pollution Control Board also, in the sense that when you're, this agitation obviously will be on the industries and others. But as Dr. and others were saying, what is your message or what is the people's message to even the Goa Pollution Control Board?
Means usually they are sending the main person, the senior person should come and check all this.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Not to send the what is that? Juniors.
Right.
Mostly even last time the juniors were sent. They just make a report. By the time the report reach, everything is clear. No pollution.
Right.
This is what is happening. We don't want any juniors to come again. Seniors come, look forward and take the necessary action.
Right.
That's what we want to
Right.
be done. Because this become too much, they are folding us a lot. Again, we cannot bear this anymore.
Prasad, the Goa Pollution Control Board, of course, this time it has a chairperson who's known to be sensitive, though we are not getting into personalities here. And the issue is that all along there seems to have been a little bit of a humane approach in this. This is the overall feeling. But where do you think, in the sense that the Goa Pollution Control Board, is it because it's burdened with too many other issues to bother about this? Can they rectify this by having a permanent office there so that they can look into it? Also, are they monitoring the air and water on a live basis from there? Because what kind of monitoring systems are happening? Just if we can just respond to a few.
Yeah, first of all, it is not like burden for them. If they are having a pollution control board in Goa, I mean, they should check the pollution what is happening in Goa.
Right.
That is their first duty.
Correct.
Second thing, they should install whatever the necessary instrument like air quality monitoring instrument.
That's also not there?
It is not there. It is not there.
Shocking. And then?
It is not there.
Oh.
And like pollution board should visit regularly, like once in a 6 months, whatever they should examine the water surrounding areas.
When did they last visit?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
This itself tells a lot. When you don't even know when the Pollution Control Board visited there, when people
they
don't
should
know,
visit
then it's,
and examine the water, soil, or
Yes.
whatever.
Yes.
the
They are not
air
serious
pollution.
about this.
Right.
Actually, there should be an office
Right.
over
Yeah,
there.
it should be one office.
That
should
was
be
the
there.
demand and the promise
Yeah.
also, if I'm
Yeah.
not
That's
mistaken.
what.
Right?
Correct.
Right, that's what they said. Okay. I'm afraid we've run out of time, and I'm sure that we could go on because, this is a subject that is absolutely never ending, as it should be. But let us suffice to say this, that if there is another revolution that is needed in Cuncolim, that revolution has arrived. And it is not because people want to take law into their own hands or to cause any disturbance. Far from it. People are wanting to exercise their democratic right to protest in a manner that they feel that the system, which is not opening its doors to reason and to understanding and empathy, those doors need to be opened, and if they don't open with a gentle bell, the doors need to be knocked. And at times, to get justice, the issue is they would go to any extent to see that justice is given to them through all the means that are there in their command. The point is, it has reached this stage because one feels that conversation and empathy has broken down between those who are mandated to protect the environment and the lives of people, and the nexus between these forces, as with the perpetrators of the pollution, seems to be very deep, and that is what the feeling is very strongly there. Dottor and others have repeatedly said the polluter must pay, but who do they pay? There is an underlying message in this which any sensible viewer of this program will understand. The issue is that if this is true, then you are actually playing with people's lives. You are playing with not just the environment, but you are playing with health and lives of not just this generation, but a generation that is to come and generations thereafter. Secondly, politicians need to look at themselves in the mirror and ask whether they can sleep peacefully at night and look at the faces of the children and grandchildren and ask themselves whether they are doing justice to their futures. And most importantly, questions should be asked to the powers that be in the state, all the rulers, MLAs, ministers, as to why promises made in the assembly, which is a sanctum sanctorum of democracy, temple of democracy as they say, are not fulfilled. If an inspection has to be made, why is it not made? If a promise made to the people that we will sort it out in 10 days, why is it not done? These are democratic desires and democratic needs that need to be fulfilled. These are rights of people. Until and unless this happens, then we cannot call Goa a functional state. We cannot call ourselves as a state which is on the path to progress. We cannot call ourselves as a world-class destination. We may have our G20s, we may have our big meetings, we may have our national games, all good and all fine. But the point is, until and unless we ensure the health of the people and to see that our environment, our soil, our water gets completely protected, we have no right to call ourselves as a successful democratic state. And I'll end with this. I thank all the panelists for coming here, spending time, explaining to us what the ground situation is and sharing with us their rightful pain of not just their own but the people who are suffering. Thank you so much.